They've had great continuity in their starting lineup this season.
Do you have the license?
Starting lineups this season. Philadelphia's 24th different starting lineup. For the Knicks, just their 4th. And a foul right away on Tyrese. First contact is going to be called. Here's Brunson, mid-range, no. And the rebound hauled in by Gordon. Here's George, slithering through, elevating, left it short. Anunoby secures the rebound.
Challenged by Jericho Sims, getting his 4th start of the year. Hyper-athletic big man, but obviously not going to give you the kinds of numbers offensively that you're accustomed to at that position.
Here is Hart. Bridges. Unable to bank it in. Anunoby keeps it alive, but Oubre off and running. Brunson cuts him off and comes up with the basketball. Now Bridges in rhythm, connects on it. Detroit finally broke out, went 6 of 8 from 3 in that game, and now hits his first attempt tonight.
It's been a bit of a roller coaster. So if I'm Philadelphia and he makes that first 3, I'm thinking, oh boy, it might be a long night.
As we saw Christmas Day on our air. Gordon, a deep one, he's short, and the rebound.
Organization has gone wrong.
And you could see the way it is weighing on Nick Nurse. Just trying to navigate without so many key pieces as of their first-round playoff series a season ago. Just how many Knicks fans were in this building? They certainly travel well, and it is not a far trip. Yabusele, good look over to Gordon. Maxey with 5 to shoot. Maxey dances inside. Oubre flips it in. He said, it's amazing whenever you think, oh, he has a limitation ability to spray the basketball like that.
He scared the absolute bejesus out of the United States Olympic team this summer. I remember that.
Earned his way back into the NBA as a result, and he's going to make a lot more money when he's a free agent this offseason. Here's Hart over to Anunoby. Sets himself up. Bridges. A free lane, and Bridges can't swivel it in, but Hart tips it in.
I love what Josh Hart brings. The guy's having a career year almost across the board. Over 9 rebounds a game at his size.
Maxey missed it right. I mean, yeah, at 6'4", DB.
Come on.
And you look at anybody else his size in the league, there's nowhere in the vicinity of him on the rebound. So it's number 2 on Maxey, just 3 minutes into the first. And you can understand, Doris, the desire to want to challenge it, because you don't want Tyrese Maxey, especially in a game without Embiid, to pick up 2 early ones. But as Anunoby hoists it up, got it on the rest of the game, and that didn't seem like you had much of a chance to win if you're Philadelphia.
I agree. The only thing, having watched Nick Nurse pleading with the official proximate contact, his point was he thought Mikal was using his arm to establish position first.
Yeah.
On the duck in, and so I agree, it's done, you've lost your challenge, and maybe you want to have it, but to me that was his thinking, was there was proximate contact.
Thought it could be an offensive foul instead. Maxey staying out there with those 2 personals. Here's Maxey, pitter-patter dribble, fades and leaves it short. Hart the rebound, and Hart runs right off the glass. Brunson into the corner, Bridges again.
The rate can take off the window. New York's a team that plays at one of the slowest paces. But when they get opportunities in transition, usually Josh Hart is somehow involved. And
when you asked Tom Thibodeau before the game about Hart's rebounding, that was the first thing that Tibbs talked about, his ability to get it and go. Yabusele had that one go halfway down and pop out. Here's Bridges. Cross court. Hart didn't take it. Brunson 8 to shoot. Brunson, baseline teardrop is good. His floater as good as it gets.
No question. Going either direction. If he needs to, he uses the Euro step to get his shoulders closed.
Last year, he set a record for most floaters in a season, a stat that's been tracked for a little more than a decade. Hart lobbing it in, and Sims gets fouled. Sims hits the
rim. If you're Josh, make him feel good early if you can.
Yeah.
So I like him targeting that. The 3 was there for Jalen, but it just changes the way somebody feels.
Rewarding your big running the floor,
exactly.
Too. Here's George. His 3 is good. He feels like for so much of this season where he fits in, and over the last couple of weeks, as Anunoby got lost underneath, George has finally just said, you know what, I'm going to do this, and the results have been there.
Listen, you hear this out of Devin Booker, right, where he talks about, oh, Kevin hasn't shot 3 trips up the floor, like, right. I've got to do something.
George, that's why he's taking it into his own.
Way the geography in New Jersey about where he's certain part of the state.
That's right. Paul George could not quite keep it in bounds.
Put that cap on.
That might be a safer play. Here's Bridges on the cut.
To get where they want to go as a team, they're going to need more and more consistency from Bridges. There's no question about it.
Bridges nearly came up with a steal. Maxey, quick first step, slides through, couldn't reverse it in. Achua fighting for the board, so is Oubre, and a second foul on Tyrese Maxey 3 minutes into the game.
Are you going to rub that into Nick Nurse all game long?
No. I'm just trying to consider what the audience, because I was thinking, DB, maybe that last hit New York.
How often would you see the two-man game, little screen and roll action, pick and pop action with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen? It's got to look different.
Yabusele off on a 3. You see Jeff Doughton Jr. into the game for Philadelphia. So is Justin Edwards. They have both been good finds for Nick Nurse as he's had to play with this depleted roster. Hard bounces. What a pass and what a finish.
That was one of the things he did exceptionally well in Phoenix. Be opportunistic as a cutter.
He has 10 points, 4 of 6 shooting in this first. Here's Doughton. His floater rings in. Now in his 4th year, and Nick Nurse been happy with the way Doughton was late. He said, all right, I'm going to tuck the shoulder and make sure we get this foul call. Brunson, a 3 is good.
People to our right who might not want to awaken the dragon. You see Jalen make 2016 and 20, and over to the broadcast booth.
Anunoby in the corner, can't hit. You know, NBA coaches, they always love when they get Villanova players. They will always rave about the way they come from the school of Jay Wright. George can't hit the 3. Council kept it up.
But you know they were going to be well taught on the defensive end of the floor, give you great effort.
The Chris Jenkins shot is one of the all-time biggest shots in basketball history. And never forget the reaction of Rolly Massimino with Mike Fratello, our good friend, when that shot went in to give Nova that title in 2016. Brunson gets fouled, and he's going to the line. A little homage to our good friend Mike Breen. Brunson missed them both.
How well did that team basically absorb every loss?
Yes.
One injury after the other, they kept battling.
Yabusele plays it in.
Just a little bit by surprise. And it's not like we've not seen OG cut drivers off before, beat him to a spot. Yabusele having none of that.
Brunson turns the corner, able to lay it in. The footwork and the finish. 9 points for Brunson. George aggressive early, back ironing off. Deuce McBride up with the rebound. 6-point Knicks lead. Brunson puts it on the deck, and George was there to take it away. Here's George. Hard anticipated it. Council to fake. The attack. Finish it. And Achua storms in for the rebound.
Look, I'd like Council to have a little vision on that.
Wow, like Hart just did.
You're valued. Like, cover 35 feet with the first pass. Your defenders have virtually no shot.
That's off the mark. Here comes Hart again in transition. One of the most efficient players in the league in transition. Sets up McBride. He got it.
And again, Josh in transition.
30-19, Knicks in front. Knicks 5 of 8 from deep in this first. And Joel Embiid available much at all this year. He's played in just 13 games, out again tonight. And doors after it took a while for him to get going. comes back, wasn't as productive as we're used to, starts to play like the Joel Embiid we know on Christmas Day, sprains his foot, but continued to play for a while afterwards, and then suddenly is out with that sprained foot and is still being designated as day-to-day. Nick Nurse said, look, still saying day-to-day, but still not back.
Listen, the guy in the last 5 games he played, over 30 points, 50% shooting, and 56% three-point percentage.
Yeah.
When healthy, as we always say, one of the most productive. To the matter is, from the outset of his career, it's been the inability to be available. You are not winning in this league without your top 5 player in your lineup consistently. And what feels different to me about this year with the Sixers and Joe, it's just like there's a heaviness. Like, these guys still play hard, obviously, give great effort nightly. But there's just moments, you see it with Tyrese Maxey, where he doesn't have the joy.
Now, I know you're a diehard Eagles fan, but we're here in Philly. Do you co-sign Cat wearing an Eagles shirt?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, Knicks fans, you heard it. Thanks, Jalen. Back to you.
Good stuff, Cassidy. I think, you know, if you produce like Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns have, then the Knicks fans are going to be fine with you wearing any jersey, as long as you wear. Start of the second quarter. Knicks a 30-21 lead, and Chua and Sissa. Philadelphia just 1 for 10 from 3. Knicks were 5 of 8 in that first quarter. Here's Maxey. Gets around Bridges and slides it in.
Close out against Tyrese Maxey, even if you take the right ankle quite often. That speed is just problematic.
First points of the game for Maxey. And a whistle going the other way, moving screen there.
So skilled, but there's just moments where even he feels like not as joyful.
Yeah.
What you would expect given the record.
Payne fires and hits from 3. Break there at the end of the first was just how things have felt a little gray without as much light peeking through than maybe it felt certainly with the offseason the Sixers had, the way they built their roster, and then even at the beginning of the year when you're thinking, okay, they'll get healthy, they'll be together soon enough, they're still waiting on that.
Here's what I want to know. Because upcoming for Philadelphia, at Indy, at Milwaukee, at Denver. Cleveland, your home game. At Chicago, good finish there. But just, I don't know how to describe how it, as it relates to the Sixers.
Yeah. We'll see that upcoming schedule momentarily. You see what the Sixers did in December, and that was something Nick Nurse did point to when we asked him before the game, is it easy to still find hope? That if you get your big 3 together, what it can look like, and having the roster healthy. As Bona turns well for Philadelphia, getting time amidst the depletion of their roster. But Nick Nurse said, look, I'm not going to lie, right now, it is tough to hold on to that hope and have it feel real tangible. But Bridges, he said, but that is kind of what you hold on to.
Right now, you better stop some of the three-point shooting for the New York Knicks, because Bridges is feeling good right now. That'll help you right there, but knock a couple down.
Second 3 of the game for Philadelphia. They're 2 for 12. Knicks 7 of 10. Payne, not that time. Knicks get back on defense as Bona secures the glass. Here's Maxey. Cut off, steps back, long 2. And a timeout taken by New York.
Parents are safe, but it's an ongoing situation. There's in the aftermath. But Ryan, even though he's here in Philly, pieces of his heart and mind are understandably in LA.
Oh, no question, Cassidy, and beautifully told. It is just obviously an ongoing, heartbreaking situation for still very much in the thick of things with the fires in Los Angeles. And you know, I think a lot of times in performance, Doris, we take for granted the things outside that you have to deal with in life and organize.
These players are no different than us in the fact that they have families, concerns, stresses, joys. This one in particular for Paul, the unknowing.
Here is Oubre attacking. And
there's no, that last possession, they're running against the zone, just a little design set to have Mikal come off a screen. He's a right-handed shooter going right to left on that last one, made it look easy.
Bridges fading, rims out. Sims, the O-board, and the putback.
The sprint in transition gets you a couple more buckets.
Here's Maxey. Philadelphia's made its last 5 shots. Maxey can't curl that one in. Hart again pushing pace for New York. Hart sets up Payne. Can't hit that one. Rebound knocked out of bounds. Payne, McBride, Sims, Bridges, and Anunoby, the 5 on the Hart and Towns have played historically high minutes collectively to begin this year, but no Towns tonight as Maxey's pass goes off the rim and into the arms of the Knicks.
The most telling number of what you just said is never before in the history of the NBA has one team had the 1, 2, and 3 top minutes getters, however you say that, in the league, and that's what the Knicks starters have. It's incredible.
Bridges 1, Hart 2, Anunoby 3, and Brunson 5.
She talked about the fact that you know who's on board with it when he returns is how much time
he was in an interesting place with us.
He was gregarious.
Yes,
today.
he was, which, you know, he took us to NBA.
Yes, that have some tenure. Yeah.
He said, you got to hit it and move on, because if you keep talking over and over again, it actually takes you out of what you need to be coaching on the floor.
I thought that was a great point. You've seen players get sidetracked, over-involved with the officials.
Wow.
Playing at the baseline drive earlier than that play, he shows you some hops on occasion.
Here's Brunson. Guarded by Maxey, picked up 2 early ones, has avoided the 3rd. Anunoby lobbing it into the corner. Bridges extra feed, 1 more. Anunoby to McBride. He got it. Bench for Deuce McBride, and the Knicks are 10 of 16 from 3. Here's George off. Brunson the rebound. Pushing for the Knicks. Brunson guarded by Gordon. Into the corner, McBride, no. Here's Bridges. Bridges redirects, and now George comes up with a steal. Maxey bounces out, Oubre's 3. Off.
This has been an issue all year for the Sixers, just the inability to make shots. Bottom 3rd in the league in most of the 3-point categories.
Bridges can't get that one. 25th in 3-point percentage, 23rd in 3-point makes per game. There's 24th in overall field goal percentage.
Would help if the big fella were drawing a couple double teams now and again.
He usually makes those numbers a little better. Here's George massaging his way in and banking it home.
To me is a noticeable difference with his game. Is New York going to take a timeout? He doesn't draw as many fouls or get to the free throw 3 games from 3.
Yeah.
They are going to need consistency from him on both ends come April and May.
Well, when you look at the way the starting 5 is composed, right? You have to look at that and say, can that starting 5 win
the variance.
Up and down, the variance for Bridges?
And the variance, I would also say, comes on the defensive end of the floor. You know, everybody has said the best combination of wings defensively in the league is OG and Mikal. Well, you've got to prove that on a nightly basis.
And it finishes. Mikal Bridges, almost halfway to AC Green's record, 1,192 straight games. But you see the 555, and it definitely does get taken for granted, that luxury of him just always being available. And not taken for granted by Tibbs, though.
Oh, my God, and especially in this era, right, where we talk often about player availability.
Bridges short on that one. Maxey secures it. George leaking out.
First timeout. Philadelphia played
Minnesota this time of year. Chilly.
2 of the more prolific guys in the league. Hasn't Anthony Edwards made the most total threes?
Yep.
Yeah. It's interesting to hear Steph's coach, Steve Kerr, talk about you're starting to feel the frustration of Stephen Curry a little bit with all the losing.
Big bucket there from Anunoby cleaning up the play. Well, yeah, you had Steph even admitting, hey, you can't just mortgage the entire future trying to spackle something together. You got to be cognizant of how this organization is left when I am gone.
Come on.
Something to watch as this second quarter closes and then into the second half. Maxey unable to serve it in. Bona keeps it alive. Tried to get it to the corner on his shoulders.
All right, the strength.
7 to shoot. Here's Yabusele. Maxey skirts around, hoists it up. Back iron it off. Oh, what a tip.
Was it Bona?
Edwards got in there. Another
Edwards,
young man who has really stood out.
He played great last night in a very tough game.
And Nick Nurse told us what he's seen from Edwards over the last handful of games has reaffirmed for him that he should. Yeah, looked like just enough on with the right hand on the right side and then the left hand on the wrist for it to be a foul. Bridges, hard bounce. Achua seeking space. Say you should. Achua hit challenge from Nick Nurse, as you admonished me for earlier. To challenge quicker this year. Mark Dagnall in Oklahoma City and Michael Malone in Denver.
Wow.
6 to shoot. Maxey acrobatically couldn't finish. Yabusele, no. Achua hugs the rebound. About a 7-second difference game in shot clock.
Without Cat, those defensive rebounds don't seem as certain.
Karl Anthony Towns averaging 14 boards a game, and the Knicks 6th in defensive rebounding percentage. Here's Brunson, 5 to shoot. Brunson the drive, the float, and the foul.
So their last game against Detroit, the great leadership of Steph Curry. This guy at the free throw line, great leader as well. And that's Jalen.
He is certainly about it. Brunson up to 11 points, 5 seconds left in the half. Here's George, nice shake. George, the kick, 1 second left. Maxey cannot finish through 2.